Good morning, children, and welcome to your social science class. Yesterday, we started with our civics chapter about government. We studied about what is government, what were the various acts of government, then about the legislature, and today we will start with the levels of the government. You know, we have three different levels: center, state, and the local level. Center, state, and the local level. Children, alone a government can't perform all the functions. We can't say one central government can perform all the functions all over the country. No, the distribution of work is there. So the government has also divided its work. So we are having three different levels of government. In center, we are having president, prime minister, and the parliament. State level, we are having governor, chief minister, and at the local level, we are having collector and superintendent of police. So this how government has divided its work at different levels. Center is giving instructions to state. State is giving instructions to the district or the local level. Then we'll be doing with the decision making and participation, how you all participate in the decision making process, how we all are collectively responsible for this, how we are electing representatives and they are forming the government on our behalf. So who is appointing them? We are voting for them. We are voting for them and we are electing them. So now I'm going to share the screen with you all and then I will further explain you the chapter. Okay, children? Hope what I taught yesterday you might have understood. Few things I taught yesterday about what is government, how government is making laws, three functions government is having: legislative, executive, and judicial functions, and many other various acts of government are there. Government is working day and night. Okay, and now today I'll tell you about the levels of the government. Okay. Levels of the government. A question is often raised as to how the government functions. The entire work is huge and complex. As I told you, government has to distribute its work. Alone, it can't perform the functions. Now, as we studied about the various functions, about keeping the city clean, maintaining the schools, hospitals, and maintaining law and order. Protecting the country is one of the most important function of our government. And as we studied earlier, maintaining international relations is also essential. These functions are quite different from each other, but are essential for the public, for the country. Now see, children, nowadays you are under lockdown conditions. You might have seen daily your roads are clean. The garbage is being carried by the vehicles mentioned for the garbage. Then your cities, your roads, your drains, everywhere they are trying to keep the city clean. Now this is the allocation of the work by the state government. that they have to keep the city clean. Now the state gives instruction to whom? To the city collector. Now these all work under the district administration. Now Kota is a district. Every work is looked by the district administration. So this how the work is divided, and it has to be divided for proper and smooth functioning. Our government works at 3 different levels. I told you, the local level, the state level, and the central level. Local government means what? Administration of a locality by officials such as district magistrate and the superintendent of police, that is SP. So all these work are carried by the district collector. We also wait for some instructions from the district collector. So he is the head of the district. Then for him, he is having superintendent of police and other officials for his help. Now at the state level, we are having chief minister, governor, and the state legislature. They all are working at the state level. And at the center level, we are having the president, the prime minister, and the union parliament. The government at each level has its role determined by the Constitution of the India. Means all the levels of the government, center, district, and state, their work is given by the Constitution of India, it's mentioned. Now we'll discuss decision making and participation. How we all take part in the decision making process. You know, we are voting. We have been given the right to vote. All the citizens of the age 18, more than that, they are going for voting. Whether they are elections for the state assemblies or they are elections for the parliament. When I talk about the state assembly, it means I'm talking about the MLAs at the state level. Full form of MLA is Member of Legislative Assembly. And when we talk about central level, it means I'm talking about MPs, that is Member of Parliament. So we should know this. What is state level and what is central level? When we vote for them, when we are voting, when we are taking part in the voting, it means we are electing the representatives which are going to form the government at the state level or at the center level. So who is electing them? We, the citizens. We have been given the right to elect them, and they are working on our behalf because we have appointed them. Getting my point? Who has voted? We all have voted. So they are representing us. Is it clear? So they are the elected representatives of the people. Now, because India is a democratic country, above 18 and 18 have the right to vote. So the main function of the government is to make laws. We have democracy in India. In a democracy, the decisions are taken by the elected representatives of the people, as I told you. So who are electing them? We are electing them. We are electing them. And they are working on our behalf. This is called collective decision making. The decisions are taken after a thorough discussion or debate. There may be difference of opinions also. Sometimes what happens, children? Any thing is to be discussed, any point is to be discussed, any decisions are to be taken. They have discussions, they have debates, and there can be difference of opinions also. So when our representatives differ, in opinion of any matter, then such matter shall be decided according to the opinion of the majority. Quite obvious. The majority always prevails. You might have seen your classes also when you are voting, majority. When you are having the selection of the ministers, house captains, then again voting. Is it clear? Can you vote on teachers, voting of the students? Is solved by the ministers, always by voting, and the person who gets maximum number of votes is elected. Same we are having the monitors also. The teachers make decisions on behalf, seeing the capability of the child. So when such matters comes, then majority prevails. And it's very common, majority prevails when such difference of opinions are there. Now, see children, we have elected representatives. We have elected representatives. So the views expressed by the elected representatives are regarded as the views of the public, because we all have voted. We all have voted for them. We have voted, they have won from their constituencies, and they are being elected representatives. Now they are taking decisions on our behalf. Okay, getting our point? So whatever decisions are taken by them are regarded as the views of the public at large. Okay, now when you have elected representatives, it means participations of all in decision making process. It means we all are taking part in the decision making process. Next, collective decisions are essential for the smooth running of the government. It means the majority should take part in the decision making process, and if difference of opinions are there, then the majority prevails, and then only children we can have smooth functioning of the government when we are having one opinion. When we have elected representatives and they come from different communities, that's an example of unity in diversity. And moreover, people having different opinions, but they agree to act according to the decisions taken by the majority of legislators. Now, people agree to act in this matter in wider interest of society. Okay, children? Now, we'll be having universal adult franchise. Now, as you all know, and might be knowing till now, you might have studied what is universal adult franchise. Franchise means the right to vote. Children, it is the most important right which is given to you all. And when this right is available to all the adults, it is called universal franchise. And in our country, this right is enjoyed by the citizens who are of 18 and above. Now, we'll discuss this topic. What are elections? How many members of your family vote in the elections? And what is the voting age in India? So the person who is 18 years, or you should know this, a person who is 18 years or more of age can be a voter in India. Now, it doesn't mean that on voting day you go like this and say, no, my age is 18. No, they will be checking your Aadhaar card, that what is your age, or the card issued by the election commission, where your age is mentioned. You can't cheat the government. Okay, it's not that no, I'm of 18 years, I'll go for voting, I look 18 years. No, it's not that way. You have to carry your Aadhaar card or the election commission card. So a person who is 18 years of age can be a voter in India. So when you will be 18 years of age, you shall be entitled to vote. It makes us feel proud, children, when we use our right, that we are taking part, active part in the formation of the government. Now, what is franchise? Franchise means the right to vote. It is the most important requirement for a successful democracy. In our country, this right is enjoyed, I just told you, by every person who is a citizen of India, and is 18 years of age. Now, this right is needed because everyone should have an equal voice in the governance of the country. Are you getting my point? Means everyone should have equal voice in the governance of the country. It means in ruling the country. What? By giving this voting right to each and everyone, what we are establishing? Political equality. How can you say that India is giving political equality to everyone? You can say by universal adult franchise. When we are given the voting right, when government is giving voting right to each and every community, it means there is political equality in our country. This voting right proves there is political equality in a country. A democracy is defined as the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. I told you, I explained you earlier also what is democracy. Now, government is collectively responsible to all the people who have elected it to power. Government is also responsible to us who have elected it to power. Who brings the government to power? We all are only voting, children. We all are only voting and bringing the government to the power, and the government which party which gets the maximum number of votes is invited by the president at the center to form the government, and by the governor at the state level to form the government. You all know we are having two types of government in our country, central and state. Levels are three. Okay, we are having three levels: center, state, and local. But because we are having federal form of government, it means one government we are having at the center and one we are having at the state. One, I'm talking about Rajasthan state. Every state is having their own state government. So this is the meaning of federal form of government. Now we'll be discussing the key elements influencing the success of the government. Key elements influencing success of the government. Now the success of a government depends upon three factors. How many factors? It's depending upon three factors. Now when you know, children, democracy, government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So what it demands from the common man an active participation in the government. Means we all should take part in the formation of the government. Secondly, there is need to have free and fair elections in a democracy. Free and fair elections, no cheating, no booth capturing and all. Thirdly, there should not be any discrimination against any citizen. That I told you, we are having political equality in a country. All should be equal in the eye of law. Then only government can have success. All should be equal in the eyes of law. Freedom and equality are of vital importance in a democracy. They are of vital importance in a democracy. What we are having for that vital importance? We are having freedom and equality. Freedom and equality are of vital importance in democracy. So a democratic government sees that everybody gets her or his due in the society. So if you want a democratic government to be successful, then common men should actively take part in the government. Secondly, there should be free and fair elections in a democracy. Thirdly, there should not be any discrimination against any citizen. All should be equal in the eye of law. Freedom and equality are very important. Further, you'll be studying freedom of speech, expression, belief, faith. They are very important in democracy. So we can say a democratic government sees that everybody gets her or his due in the society. So I think key elements influencing success of the government is clear to you. Now comes types of government. Children, most of the countries have democratic government. But in some countries, we find the rule by one person called the king or the queen. Such a form of government is known as monarchy, where the king or the queen rule by one person. It is known as the monarchy. When we talk about democracy, as we have studied, I'm repeating again, government, it was given by Abraham Lincoln, government by the people, of the people, and for the people. When I say India is a democratic country, it means, what I want to say, it means in India, the people have the right to choose their representatives. How can you choose your representatives, children? By voting during elections. That's why we say that we should use our universal adult franchise for the correct selection of the government. In many countries, all are not having the power to choose their representatives, but in democracy, the people have the right to choose their representatives. Next, they have the right to participate in the governance of the country, and they influence the decision-making process also. They share the responsibility as well. And India is a large democracy. India got freedom after a continued struggle and many sacrifices. Now she's emerging as one of the most important and powerful democratic nations of the world. As I explained you, a democratic government may either be a unitary government or a federal. Okay? In a unitary form of government, all the powers and authorities are vested in a single center. It means they are having only one center. Okay? Only one center. So that is a single center in unitary form of government. But in a federal form of government, as I told you, the powers are divided between the central and the state governments. India and USA are the principal examples of federal governments. And the unitary form of government, we are having the United Kingdom is a good example of the unitary government. So democratic government is also of two types, unitary and federal. When we talk about unitary, it means the powers are in the hands of a single center. When we talk about federal, it means the powers are divided between the central and the state governments. USA and India are the principal examples of federal form of government, and UK, that is Great Britain, is an example of unitary form of government. Now we'll be discussing two more forms, that is the monarchy form of government. A monarchy is a system of government dominated by a single individual. Monarchy is a system of government dominated by a single individual. The monarch has all the powers. He may have a group of advisors or ministers to advise her or him. In a monarchy, people have no real say in the decision making process. Now, see, children, in a democratic form of government which we are having, we all have a say. We all take part in the decision making process by electing the representatives. But in a monarchy form of government, it's a system of government dominated by a single individual. A monarch is having all the powers. She or he, queen or king, she or he may have a group of advisors or ministers to advise her or him. But in a monarchical form of government, people have no real say in the decision making process. Some monarchs believed that they had been chosen by God, and so people could not challenge their authority. India has had a long history of monarchical system. We had great kings like Ashoka and Akbar. They united the whole country. Okay? They united the whole country. They were very good emperors, very good kings. So India has having a long history of monarchical system. We had great kings like Ashoka and Akbar. They united the whole country. Now, we are going to study about dictatorship. Dictatorship is a government by a dictator. It is a government by dictator. And a dictator can be a military dictatorship or a personal dictatorship. And under dictatorship, absolute powers are vested in a single individual. It means absolute powers are in the hands of a single individual. Next, people have no right to participate in the governance of the country. People have no right to participate in the governance of the country. There is no check on the powers of the dictator. No one can check him. In the modern world, many dictators came to power. Hitler in Germany, Mussolini in Italy, and Stalin in Russia were the real dictators. So when we say that there is a dictator government, it means it's a government by a dictator. He can be a military or he can be a personal dictatorship. It may be a. All the powers means absolute powers are in his hands. He never listens to anyone, and people have no right to participate in the governance of the nations. If you get a chance to see on the history channels and all, sometimes they show about these dictators. They are very nicely they are showing how strict and hard they were. They used to punish very badly, and they were not listening to anyone. They thought what they are doing is the best. So we can say people they at during dictatorship have no right in the governance. And see, children, you are blessed to have a democratic government in your country. So we should all use the power of voting in a right manner to elect the right government. And see, children, then after this, we had suffrage movement, that is the right to vote. The word suffrage means the right that people used to vote in order to elect. Previously, women were not given the right to vote. Previously, women were not given the right to vote. They were not taking part in the elections. And but for a long time, they were excluded. Many societies were formed for this. But what happened after the World War One? After the World War One, I'll read from here. Women were eligible for some rights. After World War One, when they played an important role, then they were considered, no, they are also important. And in 1918, all women of the age 30 years were given the voting rights in Britain, which was changed to 21 in 1928. So Britain and American women were fighting for the voting right. Then we have in 1850s the women of United States of America. They led the agitation, and all women got the right to vote in 1920 in America. With a few exceptions, women today have the same voting right as men. They have the right to own property, to vote, and to choose their own careers. And you all know, according to the new inheritance law, the girls and the women are also getting the right of property from their parents. So, children, today I have completed civics chapter, government, what is government, various acts of government, levels of government, types of government, how the government influences us, how the government is helping us, and what is our duty towards the government. So, with this, I'm completing my this chapter. Hope you all might have enjoyed. Please revise, sing the video. It's a general topic and try to enhance the knowledge. Okay, children, be safe, take care, and stay blessed.